What's up, LEGO builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. What happened to Luke's hand and Anakin's lightsaber when it got chopped off at the end of episode 5? Is the Mandalorian force sensitive? How does Darth Maul escape off the planet of Naboo after getting chopped in half? The Star Wars universe is just massive. So much lore, so much history, and so many explanations and backstories for characters and events. However, that being said, there still are some pretty big unsolved mysteries. And in today's video, I'm going to be building 3 of the biggest unsolved mysteries, in my opinion, of course, as LEGO Star Wars Mocs. One in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. While there may be answers to some of these mysteries and legends or random comics, I'm going to stick to what we know from canon events. All that being said, I think it's time to get building. If you're excited to see what these mysteries are, don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button. It's time for me to get started. For the first mock, which is the 10-minute one, I'm going to build a rare original trilogy scene. You don't see that a whole lot here at Coconut Brick Studios. At the end of episode 5, Luke gets his hand cut off while holding his father Anakin's lightsaber. Both the hand and the lightsaber are presumed lost until in the sequel movies Anakin's lightsaber shows up again, which begs the question, how was it found and who found it first? I like to think that the Emperor got his hands on the lightsaber and severed hand first with a dark purpose in mind for the hand. I'm once again using the quarter cylinders as part of the base of this mock. I tend to do that with smaller mocks because it saves a ton of time that would be spent building a base, and the curves and angles of the bricks create a nice unique shape for the mock. I'm also going to add a back-to-tank to the back, as well as some random computers to capture that classic laboratory vibe. Because this is a 10-minute mock, I only have time to add in general details that give hints or ideas as to what the overall scene looks like and what the setting is that I'm trying to build. As most of you know, Sidious was big into cloning, with the specific intent of cloning a Force-sensitive being loyal to him. So I could see him hearing about what happened to Luke and sending out searchers to recover the severed hand, so he could use it to clone a dark side version of Luke to replace Vader. And he probably wouldn't really care about the lightsaber and has it put away into storage, where Maz from the sequels somehow comes across it while infiltrating the lab and steals it. I can't take credit for this theory, as I saw someone else create a similar scene on Reddit, but I really liked their idea and loved the story that it represented. Next, I'm revisiting one of the most mysterious and underexplored events in Star Wars, Order 66. And theorizing what happens to Grogu at the Jedi Temple and how does he escape. We see a flashback of Grogu in the temple during Order 66, watching clones gun down Jedi in front of him, and then they point at him and start to move in. But then his memory clouds and we don't see what happens next. Do the clones capture him? Is he rescued by another Jedi? Building the Jedi Temple was hard for me because it has a mostly tan interior and I have a very limited number and variety of tan pieces. Which brings up an interesting side note. These building challenge vids have really pushed the limits of my part collection, as I have built many places I don't normally do, so I have limited part options. But that has its upsides, as it has made me a lot more creative with the parts I do have and caused me to be more aware of how I can go about building new and different mocks with these same parts. In this theory, we see Jedi Master Jocasta Nu picking up Grogu and rescuing him, as another unnamed Jedi jumps forward and holds off the oncoming 501st clones. While Jocasta Nu is killed by Anakin during Order 66, what happens before that is less clear, and she could have come across Grogu just in time to save him, and either send him off in an escape pod or hide him away until someone else is able to come get him out of the temple. This is a theory I have seen floating around in the Star Wars community, and I think it's a viable option and isn't too far-fetched, unlike the Mace Windu theory where he is the one who comes and saves Grogu. The last mock is a theory from the end of my favorite Star Wars movie, The Phantom Menace. What happens to Darth Maul after he is cut in half and falls down that large shaft? We know from the Clone Wars he ends up with spider legs on the garbage planet of Lotho Minor, but how does he get there? And how does he manage to escape off of the planet of Naboo with no legs? This mock is gonna get messy. I want to build a large garbage pit where all kinds of trash and junk are broken down and transported off planet to Lotho Minor. I want to make a large pillar or shaft at the back of the mock as well, with a small vent near the bottom with lots of trash, broken pieces of ships and machines, and rust and grime laying around on the floor. I was actually going to build lots of little trashy looking things until I realized if I dumped a bunch of greebling pieces in piles on the ground, it captured the same look I was going for and I didn't have to build as much. I put patches of dark orange on the ground to represent rust and grime to further add to the dilapidated trash pit vibe. I like to think that Darth Maul, as he was falling, managed to grab onto the shaft walls and break through a vent, working his way through pipes until he breaks out into a garbage pit. Hiding out there, he sees massive ships taking off full of garbage. Working in a garbage dump of this size and nastiness would mean most of the work is probably automated or done by droids. So he could sneak onto one of the ships fairly easily without being detected and make his escape to Lotho Minor. And we know what happens from there. I gave him a little pipe or something to help him work his way through the trash and defend himself if need be. In his current state, I don't see him getting off world very easily or doing a lot of traveling before he ends up on the trash planet. So I see this as a good way to get him there smoothly and in a believable way. I had a lot of fun writing out and crafting these theories. Most of the Mocs I build are of a pre-written story or a scene from the shows and movies, so the storytelling I do is mostly just representing that scene in Lego form. So this was a nice break from that and allowed me in some cases to come up with my own idea of what could have happened. Which of these Mocs was your favorite, and what are some mysteries you would have included in this video? If you have any ideas for what the theme should be for the next 3 Moc challenge video, let me know in the comments and I will catch you guys next time, but until then, happy building.